Hey everyone, my guest today is David Deighton. David is the creator of Triptych Dialogue, an art experiment in bridging societal divides by redefining how we talk to one another. It is abstract and evolving. Many paths are necessary to fulfill his goal of rekindling social connections in an age of digital echo chambers. David was not always forthcoming with society at large, despite being the product of a multicultural background. He grew up in Paris, France, traveled alone from the age of 14, and has been to over 80 countries. He spent a summer in communist Europe at 17, went around the world for 2 years on $1 a day budget in the 90s, created art under many different names, established an innovative, one of a kind art gallery, lived off the grid for 6 years, and was even an olive grower in the south of France. He's a traveler, explorer, father, husband, educator, and an abstract film producer. His travels have shown him commonalities in humanity. Now, as he witnesses the deepening social division and polarization around the world, he feels a deep need to act. For the last 6 years, he has committed his work to exploring ways for people to reconnect offline, face to face, one person at a time. That is his mission and chosen contribution to society, and what he wishes to share with you today. Welcome to the show, David. I want to thank you for being here, first off, and taking time out of your day. And I thought that what you're working on is really interesting and important, especially in today's political climate. So I was wondering if you could kind of give the audience an idea of what your typical day looks like,
Mm.
um, and just start there.
Yeah, that sounds good. Thanks for
Yeah.
having me on. I
Yeah.
very much appreciate it. I'm an artist living in the high desert of New Mexico, and I've taken on the last decades an interesting personal project. So not my income stream, if you like. It's something that
Yeah.
I feel compelled to do, and it's having seen our increasing political polarization and how society seems to be increasingly divided on the subject of politics, specifically in personal contact with other people, how we seem to be unable or unwilling, I should say,
Hmm.
to discuss politics with strangers or people that we disagree with politically. Again, it's become a taboo subject. Maybe it always has been a little bit, but even
Yeah.
more so today. And and for me, as a reflection to how do we how do we speak to one another without getting outraged and angry? And it
Yeah.
resonates with a lot of people. But it's easy to say. And how do you do it? And and as an artist, I wouldn't be taking an academic approach to things.
Hmm.
Um, it's a lot about experimentation, and it's brought me on an interesting journey that has been from doing street art,
Hmm.
which was ineffective in a sense. That's just putting your message out there, and you don't get the feedback.
Yeah.
Um, to speaking to people directly in person, and how do you do that in today's environment?
Hmm.
And that's brought me to speaking to people on a street corner, which is pretty odd. Not
Yeah.
everybody's receptive to that. What do you want? Just
Yeah.
somebody comes up
Right.
to you. Commercial spaces, you're actually unable to do those things on a one-on-one, maybe, but maybe not to set up an art installation or to
Hmm.
be present in that space. And after a few years, it brought me into national parks in particular, where in public lands, I live out in the West, we have a lot of national parks and national monuments, and
Yeah.
there are free speech areas within those parks. And I go in those areas and I invest them, if you want. I put up an art installation, something that might be interesting to people to look at. And
Yeah.
that's also my excuse for having interactions with the public. And then, and there, do I ask them to talk about politics? Would they be willing to do so? And
Okay.
that's been an amazing journey. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I'll tell you a little bit more then.
Yeah.
So what I'll do is, if somebody's walking by, I'll ask them if they want to be interviewed, for example.
Uh-huh.
And I'll record their voices to answer three non-confrontational political questions.
Okay. What
and
are they?
they're always the same. They're always, yeah, right. Yeah. So I'll tell you what. Yeah, like several years ago, those questions that I came up with, they were not non-confrontational. I didn't
Okay.
realize that there'd be trigger words in there. I had to be really careful. So I had a
Yeah.
linguist help me from the university at the Institute of Monterey to help me with
Okay.
to get me the right questions. And the first one is, how would you describe the political system of the United States of America? And
Okay.
the person just answers the question.
Yeah.
And the thing, this is the most important thing in those type of exchanges, and you can do that without having an art installation in a national park, whatever it is to just, of course, listen
Hmm.
and not think about what you're going to say to
Yeah.
retaliate, in a sense, to
Yes.
be confrontational, just to actually just listen and find one thing you have in common with their
Yeah.
responses. And and usually it's not a fact, and it's not an opinion, because those are probably the things that would trigger the other person.
Hmm.
It's usually found in the second question, which is, after they've answered, I've listened, and I ask them the next question. I ask them, how would you describe your feelings or
Yeah.
reactions to the current state of U.S. politics? And there, they'll describe usually how they feel about it. They're angry, they're
Yeah.
disappointed, they're frustrated, whatever it is. And in that word, finding that emotion, that's the bridge that I have to the other person. Because in their final question is kind of a game where I ask them to finish a sentence. And that sentence is, politics in the United States. And I leave it blank, and then they can answer and finish the sentence. Usually after those three questions, it can
Hmm.
just be one, but after those three, I've really got a word, regardless of how different that person is, how opposed they are, with maybe things that I totally do not believe in, I disagree with entirely. I will have one thing that I truly feel
Yeah.
that I share with that person, and I will tell them, maybe, you know what, I disagree with everything you said, except I'm angry too. And I show
Right.
that humanity in that one moment, and that's my bridge. And it's very simple. I mean, in practice, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's difficult when you have to take that step with a family member that you're no longer speaking
Hmm.
with a friend that you decided no more. We're always having an argument about things.
Yeah.
Those are the people I'm hoping that the public that I engage with, I hope that they will use that opportunity, this excuse that I presented with them,
Hmm.
to speak to those people they've broken up with, that
Yeah.
they maybe still love or have affection for, and be able to talk about a taboo subject. It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be politics is the one I chose because it's a volatile one. So if you could do politics, I figure you could do any other subject, and also to be able to use with strangers, because I find it to be, to me, uh, the foundation of building the bridge between our communities that are being increasingly divided by being on our cell phones and
Hmm.
being in our echo chambers and not listening to, not, and, when you're on your social media platform, it's not made to bring you to another echo chamber with a different view. You only stay in
Right.
your in group.
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
so in person we can do that, we can break the algorithm if you like, because it's
Hmm.
offline and it's in person and face to face, and that's what I do. And I've been
Yeah.
exploring it. It was not, maybe I didn't explain it as well years ago, but that's to the core is what it is today. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. It really is difficult. You're talking about accidentally including trigger words in your questions to begin with. And I notice when I'm communicating, especially online, if I say anything that could be construed or misinterpreted as an attack on somebody, it's going to be interpreted as an attack. Like I mean, I've posted the most neutral things, but just because you're talking about one person and not even talking bad about a politician or something, then people take it offensively. And it's like, so did you listen to what I said? Or did you just read the caption and go off about it? Or did you listen? with the intent of being angry before you even started the video. And yeah, I think that's a problem with online, whereas in person, you do have that ability to kind of get people to take a step back and view things from a different way. But again, you made a really good point about having neutral wording in your questions. Um, I think that means, both sides can kind of explain how they feel about things. So, have you
Mm.
gotten pretty positive reactions with that?
Well, that's what's crazy about it is that I've never, and it sounds weird that I'm saying this every time. You think that at one point I'd have an argument of some sort,
Yeah.
but I haven't, because all I'm doing is, because it's tough. You got to be
Yeah.
willing to be present, to ask the questions. Just let the person say what they have to say,
Mhm.
and that's it. If they don't ask you back to ask you the same question or what do you think about it, I just let them say what they have to say. I've
Yeah.
had, but people may not have been angry or upset, but upset in a little bit in the sense that some people have been waiting so long for somebody to listen to them,
Yeah.
to hear them out, that I've had several people cry.
Yeah.
And it's an unusual situation when you're in a public area and you're speaking
Yeah.
to a lady and she's starting to cry and her husband comes over saying, "What'd you do to my wife? Why is she crying?"
Yeah. Yeah.
So no, she's just answering a question.
Yeah.
And it's awkward because there's all this pinned up uh, uh, thoughts and emotions and
Mhm.
feelings that we need to get out in a sense, and
Yeah.
we feel strongly about our opinions and our ideas, but we have no outlet to bring them out. And if we don't
Yeah.
have people that are there just to listen to them for a bit, then it just stays there and it festers. And therefore, when that word comes out, when that trigger words comes out online,
Mhm.
it's an explosion. You're going to bring it all out. Guess what? The person can't see you. They can't get back to you. They don't know
Yeah.
where you are. It all comes out with some really hurtful stuff. And of course, it's lacking all the nonverbal aspects of it. It's just a written word. You don't know what the context of those
Mhm.
responses are. So we read them through our own interpretation and our own filters and biases. So those responses might be seem to be aggressive when they might not have been intended to
Yeah.
be, but some
Yeah.
clearly are. Um,
Right.
so that's why I think it's just, to me, I've done, interesting enough, years ago, before COVID, um, I did an experiment on social media.
Mhm.
As an artist, I went on, and people can go to this experiment. It's on Instagram for
Okay.
my project name's Triptych Dialogue.
Okay.
And every day I put on a video, abstract, weird, wacky stuff
Yeah.
about political polarization, disinformation, all this stuff. And every day I put up a different one, put up a different one, and see what the algorithm would do. And I would reach out to different groups, like not in my artist group. I'd go one day to nurses, another way firemen, and accountants, whatever. You can
Mhm.
hashtag another group. Oh, the algorithm didn't like it. I was acting like a bot apparently, and
Oh.
I got banned a half a dozen times. So first time you get banned 3 days, second time you get banned a week, third time it's 2 weeks, and then it was a
Yeah.
month. I didn't get a full 365 videos out, but I got banned, and it was interesting to see at the end that all it brought me back is to a bunch of artists following an artist,
Yeah.
and I'd follow. I'm more on the left. So I'd go to alt-right groups and right-wing groups and go in there and try things and try trigger words and see
Mhm.
what would happen. And it was just we were we were yelling at one another all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
And that's from that experiment did I go
Okay.
to talking to people in person. There's no way out of this
Yeah.
digital divide that we're in. I mean, the system is made for us to stay in our boxes and not go talk to
Mhm.
our neighbor.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, like you were saying with the algorithm and the channels you go through on social media, you're seeking things that you like already. So already you're going at it with the mindset that you're going to find more of what you believe versus things that you don't agree with, you don't believe in. And then yeah, once that algorithm kicks in, you're you're done for,
Right. It just
So
reels you in. I got the
yeah.
fish. You're
Yeah.
pulling it in. And then they make it more outrageous every time, right? They pull you
Yeah.
to like, oh, maybe David would like to see a little bit more of this
Yeah.
or a little
Yeah.
bit of that. And
Ugh,
it was a real rabbit hole. I just kept
yeah.
on going. Um, but it's been very transformational to me to
Mhm.
to be able to speak to people directly. I mean, being here on
Yeah.
a podcast is new to me as well. I used to be a
Really.
very recluse
Yeah.
artist, anonymous, using different artist names. When you talk to people face to face, at first I was just a minefield of triggers being
Mhm.
triggered by. But now
Yeah.
I have conversations across the board, and I don't
Yeah.
feel triggered anymore. It's not because I don't care. It's by getting used to it, you know.
Right.
It's like okay, you got that opinion. Okay, you're coming from somewhere, and you're showing me a little bit of yourself, and I appreciate that because
Yeah.
you're giving me time to tell me what you think. Maybe you'll ask me what I think, but that
Yeah.
doesn't really matter too much to me. I mean, that's not my goal. It's just to show an example that we can be civil in
Mhm.
conversations, bring it home with us, and apply the same with others.
Yeah.
Mm. It's almost like a mission.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
really, because while you were describing that, all of this, and I don't know if this is similar to how you were feeling, when as things have changed, you know, I wasn't active. I was just following things. I was interested but not speaking out about anything. And it can be kind of scary to go out and put your face in front of people and talk to people in person. And I I personally got to a point where I'm like, no, I have to start doing something, even if it's a small difference. And I started with working um, for the 2024 election and did my first caucus. And I just jumped right in. I was a caucus captain. I did a speech in front of the town, and then caucus was over, and because we have the Iowa caucuses here, so it's the first in the country.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a big deal, and I that's what I love about Iowa. But once caucus was over, I got that feeling where I'm like, well, my job is done now and I don't want it to be done. And
Mm.
that's kind of what got me into podcasting. And yeah, some days I don't feel like talking to people, but it always ends up being worth it. And again, even if it's just a small difference that you're making, like one conversation that you're having, that can turn into, if it's only one conversation and you're only reaching 5 other people from that one conversation, that's still something compared to
Mhm.
nothing. Do
Oh,
you
for
have
sure.
similar feelings like that you
Oh,
just felt like you had to go
well,
do something?
absolutely. Listening. I mean, you're on a podcast. You're speaking. There's an audience there. You're
Mhm.
speaking to. You have your listeners, um, and when you're doing it one on one,
Yeah.
that's it's time consuming, right? It's time consuming, and you wonder if it has an impact. So, being detached from that. I mean, it's not really that as much as I feel like democracy is not just going out to vote. You did
Mhm.
obviously much more than that by being involved.
Mhm.
Um, it's a continuous thing. I mean, the freedoms that we have need to be constantly fought for. We need to be active and vigilant as well, and to engage others, not just sign a petition. I mean, that's cool too,
Yeah.
but
Right.
more than that, and um,
Yeah.
and it doesn't involve just being doing something directly for a political party. I see it as just a civic duty.
Mhm.
That is one aspect of for me in art. I'm I'm one of those that sees that all action that has an intention is an artistic expression.
Yeah.
So, for example, what you're doing is art, as far as I'm concerned. That's the way I
Yeah.
see it. That's the way I see everything around me is, um, but when there's intention in it that uses our senses,
Hmm.
that uses our intellect or our mind, um, and when we share with others, that has a greater impact as well. And being present, um,
Yeah.
that's one of the things in active listening, right? So when I'm listening to people directly, face to face, person doesn't know me, I don't know them. I don't just listen to them. I also have
Hmm.
to add more of the senses. And this is going to get a little bit weird, Sam, because if you take that all the way,
Uh-huh.
there's taste and smell. So what does that
Hmm.
mean? That I'm smelling the other person? That's getting a bit strange, right? I'm tasting them, forget it. And that's like, but after I ask the three questions, I
Uh-huh.
usually ask them to give me one word that summarizes all of their all that expression, all their responses to the three questions.
Hmm.
One word, super hard, you know,
Yeah.
but usually they get to it. And often it's contrary to what they were saying. They were had angry and all this stuff and all this stuff. They're upset
Yeah.
about this. A lot of the words that pop up, like one of the main words, is hope. So they're like, oh, you
Okay.
know what? I don't like what everything, but I have hope that it's going to get better in the future.
Yeah.
Uh, that word, right, ends up being a variety of words, and I've collected them. And as an artist, I document everything one after another. Like every interview, from the
Okay.
hundreds of interviews, at the end, I ask them,
Hmm.
give me one word that encapsulates it. They say the word is anger, the word is hope, or whatever they say. I
Yeah.
take that word and I use it in artwork. One of the ways I've used the word, I've turned it around, and I've asked other people, it's like, what does democracy taste like?
Okay.
Yeah, what is that? Yeah, we never did. Like, what's that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird, right? So, and people usually stop like saying that's weird, but they take a
Yeah.
second and they think about it, and they usually look down, left or right, depending on what side brain or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And and it's like, oh, it's apple pie, pecan pie, or
Ah.
it's an
Yeah.
enchilada, or it's
Yeah.
citrus, it's sour. It's
Yeah.
you know, they come up with all of these different dishes depending on which culture they're from, or
Yeah.
they'll stick to what the actual tastes are, and then that can also go for smell. What does it smell
Hmm.
like? And it makes us think about the word in different manners, and I think that's also a way that, in an offbeat way, people bring those words into different senses to acknowledge, to be more present using all our
Hmm.
senses in the way we communicate with one another. And that's something that, as an abstract artist, doesn't seem too weird to me.
Yeah.
It can seem wacko to others.
Right. Right.
But
Yeah.
yeah, but it's made some interesting art that way.
Yeah.
Mm, mm, yeah.
Um, while we're talking about your art, where can people find it?
Well, okay, so where they can look at some of the
Hmm.
things I've done
Yeah.
for just this project, which I call triptych dialogue,
Uh-huh.
and that's a weird word. It's TRIPTYCH. They're religious panels with three panels, and there's a whole other story there.
Uh-huh.
On YouTube, a triptych dialogue,
Okay.
and then they'll see just like a chronology of installations, of interviews, of different expressions to it.
Yeah.
Um, but when people just kind of find me by happenstance, I'll
Yeah.
be at the Grand Canyon. The one I posted recently, I was on the canyon rim. The superintendent, they got
Okay.
me a great spot. I was in amphitheater, 200 spaces, and I was right there where people take pictures and stuff. And I had
Yeah.
installed like a sculpture in the middle, and it was. People should go see it because this is kind of
Yeah.
difficult to explain. But it was like a
Okay.
museum case with a plexiglass on the top, and it had a statue in the middle. And
Okay.
people would come up and say, "What's this about?" And I would have also in my hand a spice jar, glass jar, with a little toy inside. And
Uh-huh.
I would say, "Okay, that sculpture inside of that plexiglass, that's me, that's you. It's a representation." But actually, what
Yeah.
I'm more interested in is the plexiglass that's around it, the casing, glass
Okay.
case. That's like our worldview of things. It's how we see, it's our point of view, it's our echo chamber. And it's often much smaller than we think that it is. Like when we're inside looking
Yeah.
out, everything looks huge. Like the world is ours, the Grand Canyon, everything. It's
Yeah.
just much smaller. And the guy got in my little spice jar, he's even in a tighter echo chamber, right?
Right.
And the question is, how do these two talk to one another sincerely, right?
Mhm.
With civility and connection. How does that one enter the other echo chamber when our echo
Right.
chambers are so rigid?
Yeah. That's a really cool way to think about that. Because, I mean, yeah, you don't think about, yeah, looking out, you can see everything, but yeah, what's getting in is nothing basically, depending. So, huh, very thought provoking.
Right. I don't give answers,
Yeah,
except like, what are we going to do about it? Does it even
right.
need to be done? Should we do that? Or should we enlarge our echo
Yeah,
chambers? Should we break them up? Should we enter another echo chamber if invited? Learn a little bit about what that looks like from that point of view, from being
yeah,
inside, looking out. Are there similar types of echo chambers? And that's just a story of just the other person that's in front of us. Every time
hmm,
we look at somebody else, they have a worldview. What's it like? What's it sound like? What are the
yeah,
trigger words? What makes what gets them upset or whatever? Those are all fascinating things. And when we reach out and find one thing we have in common, I think we chipped away at that echo chamber,
yeah,
and we have a bridge, an invitation to enter and to share.
yeah.
Yeah, mm.
I can really
That's an
see how,
example.
yeah, no, that's a really good example.
Mm.
I Sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to tell you about my sponsors real quick. Sometimes I get on a roll cleaning or gardening and I need a boost but don't have time for a meal. Big Fork Brand's pork jerky is the perfect choice to keep my momentum, offering high protein snacks for on the go energy boosts. Not only do they offer pork jerky, but they also make pork sticks, bacon sausage, bacon hot dogs, and burger and hot dog sauces. Products come in a variety of delicious flavors, including Thai green curry and maple and brown sugar for the meat options, and gangster and Chicago fire for the sauces. I personally think the original flavor of the pork jerky hits just right after tackling a big chore. It's a little salty and very flavorful. My discount code gives you 20% off your entire order, and it's currently the best deal available. Just visit bigforkbrands.com and enter in my promo code JADE, that's JADE, at checkout. Are you looking for a gift for a music lover, or maybe some apparel to show off your quirky side? Old Glory has you covered. With over 300,000 officially licensed items covering music, sports, entertainment, and pop culture, you're guaranteed to find the perfect item. They even have seasonal gear. My husband enjoys the Beatles and Led Zeppelin apparel, and I love the Billy Idol apparel. I even found items for my fellow plant enthusiasts. This family-owned superstore is known for their quality and customer service, offers free standard shipping on all orders, and orders are shipped the same day you purchase. My discount code gives you 15% off your entire order, and it's currently the best deal available. Just visit oldglory.com and enter in my promo code JADE, that's JADE, at checkout. Looking for a game-changing way to improve your health? Zevo Life is the world's most nutrient-dense whole plant, packed with over 50% plant protein, essential amino acids, fiber, and antioxidants. Harnessing the best nature has to offer, Zevo Life nourishes your body while driving your performance, vitality, and overall well-being. Each serving is a concentrated source of clean, well-balanced nutrition designed to support modern lifestyles, and just 1 teaspoon a day supports your gut, boosts energy, and promotes healthier skin and hair. It's no wonder that it's receiving rave 5-star reviews. Step into a healthier future with a 30% discount and a 30-day risk-free guarantee by visiting zivo.life and using my promo code. To support my show and to receive 30% off your entire order, enter in my promo code JADE, that's JADE, at checkout. I can see how doing this at the parks would be better than just like randomly on the street. I think that
Mm.
people are a little bit more open-minded when they're at a park, and then when you're on the street, you don't know what somebody's approaching you for. So I imagine that your work was much more successful once you started doing it at the parks. I'm guessing.
That's a
Yeah.
really good point. So I've tried on the streets of New York. I've
Hmm.
tried in streets in major cities across Europe on my travels, and frankly, this is spot on. It's where it is. It's
Yeah.
what's the frame of mind that people are in at the time when you discuss with it. If you're going to have a conversation with Uncle Bob that you're having disagreements with
Hmm.
every year at Thanksgiving, well, you have to find a space and a time to
Yeah.
like communicate with them, to present it in a certain way, which would be less confrontational, um, and where an actual dialogue could take place. So yes,
Yeah.
the national park's really good. Even better than that is I'm on top of a mountain and I'll hike up and there's tons of people on a busy hike and they're up on the top of a
Hmm.
mountain and they've looked at the view for 20 minutes and I'll talk to somebody up there.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I could see that being a good place too. Yeah, you're just in a different mindset in some place that's more peaceful, your surroundings are more beautiful versus like a crowded street where everyone's hustling and bustling to get someplace.
And they want something. We're in a
Yeah.
city, so we're on the rat race to get to work, to acquire money or whatever, and
Hmm.
people are out to get things from you. So uh, it depends where you live. If you live in a busy city, that's no good. Even if you live in a car dominated city,
Yeah.
everybody's in a car. Those are
Yeah.
actual echo chambers. That you're not going to open your window and speak to somebody next to you. I mean, you
Right.
could say hi, but they're going to think you're crazy.
Yeah. 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 Or you keep them closed because you don't want somebody, talking to you through the car window. Like,
Right. It's where do you do these things? So
yeah.
churches, community rooms, people that whenever the occasion arises. You can even a cup of coffee. It's really about. I use tools. Not everybody's going to
Uh-huh.
go to the national park and set up
Right.
set up an art installation. So I've created other tools,
Hmm.
and another one is a book. It's just a book. What I do is I go to the library and they throw away hundreds and hundreds of books that
Uh-huh.
they're in a recycling bin. I pick those up. Anybody can do this for whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
Ask the librarian, go pick up some books they throw away. It's like a finance in 1985. I mean, it's all
Yeah.
pre-internet stuff, right?
Yeah.
Pick up that book. I rip out the pages. I rip out pages, and I keep
Uh-huh.
a few. I stamp in my case, and anybody could put something else in it. I stamp in with a big old stamp with ink my three non-confrontational political questions.
Okay.
But in the front, I put in a little explanation about why what would be a good idea to talk, civil conversations on politics, on the taboo stuff, to bridge the societal divide, all that stuff. And I
Yeah.
put it on the front page with a little tab saying, open, open here. I
Yeah.
take the book, get it. I drop it off on a park bench. That's my business card, if you like. When I'm at the national parks, I
Yeah.
hand people a book. I I have people that contact me and say, send me a box of books. So I send them off,
Okay.
and they start conversations in their town, right? Using the books, and they drop them off in those free little libraries. Those boxes. They put one in
Yeah.
there, or they have one at church, and they open it up, and they're like, you know what? I got this book. And in
Hmm.
there's three questions, and I think it asks us to talk about this taboo subject. Do you want to give it a go? And people are
Yeah.
starting to have these conversations. So it's using a tool, a gimmick, in a sense,
Yeah. Yeah.
to give us the excuse to do something that's no longer in our culture.
Yeah. And I mean, that's actually really sad if you think about it
Oh,
not being in our culture anymore. Uh, but I think that's a really good way to meet or touch a wide variety of people, because it, you know all sorts of people use park benches, but they're also, I feel like if they're picking up the book, they're already a curious person and
that's true.
open to messaging, and so yeah, that's I think that I can see how that could be really effective on all groups of people.
Right, it's fun. You don't know who I've had. It was fun. I was once was with my daughter and my wife, and we went to volunteer up in Utah, and we were
Mm.
sat around the campfire with the other volunteers, and I brought out my books, and it's like,
Yeah.
okay, everybody take a book. They'll go in different directions. Be great. And
Yeah.
and one of the people that was there said, "Oh, I saw that book. It was on the coffee table, over at my friend's house." And I
Yeah.
was like, "Wow!" I was super proud. I was super
Yeah.
happy because my daughter could see that. It's not just
Oh,
dad going
of
around
course.
doing this crazy thing all the time, going
Yeah.
to national parks, having a good time, speaking to
Yeah.
strangers. And so that was really validating, that there's occasionally I just meet this person that has heard about it. And,
Uh-huh.
but it takes some effort. I mean,
Yeah.
I just send out boxes of books here and there, and then people do their thing with it.
Yeah.
And hopefully they'll make their own. Anybody can do it with
Yeah.
whatever cause they have. It's just offline. It's not using an algorithm. It's just a human endeavor, and
Hmm.
it involves contact among people, and it feels
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
It feels good. It's something that we're losing, and at the same time, I'm trying to hold on to
Yeah.
like just this natural exchange that we used to have for
Hmm.
millennia. And technology is bringing us together in one way,
Yeah.
but only within our specific echo chambers,
Yeah.
not with somebody that's different. You know,
Right.
yeah, whatever that
Yeah.
the other, they.
They.
We have they in our conversation, like who they
Yeah.
are. Let's
Yeah.
go talk to them.
Yep. Yeah. I guess I've also, while you've been talking, I've also been thinking about my friendship groups and my family. And I think that a lot of people rely on social media and the internet to help them be friends and keep in touch. And I'm a very curious person. I'll go anywhere and I will talk to someone that I've never met before. And it's been wonderful when traveling. If you want to find really cool places to go, places to eat. I've gotten to see a lot of interesting things that, like, oh, would you like to see this historical home? We have a tulip festival
Okay.
here in Iowa,
Nice.
and they weren't doing tours at this historical house in this town, but I randomly talked to the gardener about this species of tulips that they have, and he's like, "Well, you want to come see the property?" I'm like, "Sure." They don't do.
And you love plants. This
Yeah.
is your deal,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So, like, I don't know anything about this guy's politics or anything
Hmm.
about him, but we're in kind of a public area by a festival, just a little on the outskirts. So I don't think he's going to murder me, and I had family with me.
Hmm.
And so just by reaching out and talking to this person, I was able to see all these different things. And and I so I've kind of started to realize how much more higher quality relationships are when you keep relationships with people in person versus online. So I mean, unfortunate or not, I've just been trying to put more energy into the people who want to the friends and family that want to see me in person. And I think it's become more healthy. Like, uh
Healthy, yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I feel like I'm in a better place, better connected with people by focusing on that. Like, all right, well, if they're willing to put the time in and meet me in person, I'm going to always make sure to do
Hmm.
that. So,
I love
yeah.
that. There's a lot of things in there, like
Yeah.
connection and focus, and also you said
Yeah.
curiosity, right?
Yep.
Like to be the child within us, to bring that back, to just be curious as to what the other ones do, the
Mhm.
innocence as well as thinking, well, I'm not even to think I'm going to get murdered or killed or whatever,
Right. Yeah.
because most that's so rare. That's so rare. I mean, things can happen, but in a public area and all this, you can have engagements.
Mhm.
Now, I have found that I travel quite a bit, been to like over 80 countries on different continents, and the ones that are most dependent on devices, and it's
Uh-huh.
kind of getting to be everywhere.
Yeah.
Um, there's there's less suspicion when there's the less time we spend on devices,
Yeah.
the less suspicion there is, and there's more connection. People ask you where you're from, about your family, what's it like
Yeah.
in your country, oh, what happens, what, the U.S. does this and that, talk politics, social, family, what all these things, religion, all happens. Just
Uh-huh.
civilly, just want to know the curiosity of it,
Yeah.
and then we're having a cup of tea,
Yeah.
and they're getting invited over into their house, sat down, and then here comes cousins, and we discuss all these things. But the more there's a device, the
Mm.
more I feel almost attacked in first encounter. They have something they
Yeah.
have to say, and they got to get it out there, and you're the one that's going to have to listen to it. And
Right.
it's a bit tiring, You're like, oh, I don't want to hear that again, right?
Yeah.
You're just gonna bark at me and then leave.
Yeah. Right.
What's what? I just know I feel exhausted, drained a little bit. You might feel a little bit better, but really, did you? And
Right.
yeah, so it takes perseverance, like you're
Hmm.
doing, right? You're
Yeah.
you're having other guests on. You're meeting the gardener. You're willing to learn about the tulips.
Yeah.
Uh, it's something you're interested in, so that's even better. The kind Ready to accept the kindness of others when it happens. And
Hmm.
sure, there's somebody maybe out there that's badly intentioned, but as more people are attached on their devices, I think if they want to harm, they're going to go through devices versus
Yeah.
in person, because there's not that many fish to grab anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. Yeah. Well, yeah, and that guy could have just been like, like, nah, I'm busy, but I would have been fine with that too. Like,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
tell me the
Just
name
go with
and I'll
it.
be on my way. Yeah. Yeah. So
Who knows? I mean, life is just so full of so many encounters.
yeah.
Especially you're talking about traveling, and it's there's something special about speaking to a stranger.
Hmm.
You,
Yeah.
you in person. You're not going to see them again, and you're more likely to say things you wouldn't have said to others. That
Yeah.
person's going to say things to you, and it's not usually mean things. It's because the civility is still there. You
Yeah.
get more into a deeper into our psyche, into our beliefs,
Yeah.
and there's a lot to learn there. I think there's a lot to learn with strangers. Not to say that I don't enjoy having conversations with my friends.
Right.
Fantastic. But
Right.
we know kind of, they're gonna just give me a little bit more
Yeah.
um, of what I already know, and we enjoy each other's company. But there's a lot to learn from strangers.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
Yes.
weird. Here's another little anecdote. It's because I have a daughter. She's a
Uh,
teenage girl, but I've always she's been homeschooled, world schooled in lots of different
okay.
countries, and so we don't tell her don't speak to strangers, but in
Uh,
America it's like don't speak to strangers.
right.
But we've been telling her no, speak to strangers, right? I
Yeah.
mean, but in certain environments, don't speak
Right.
to. You
Yeah.
know?
Don't get in their van, but you can
Yeah,
talk
don't
to
get in their
them.
van. But if you're at a bus station or something like this, and
Hmm.
everybody sat down, somebody you can talk to that person. It's fine. You can answer questions. Just
Yeah.
don't give too much personal information, but you can
Right.
explain things that are important to you, what
Yeah.
you like, and they'll tell you things too.
Yeah.
That openness, and I think also we have a lot of increasing fear of
Hmm.
the other, they, and also
Yeah.
that translate as our children having fear of the stranger as
Yeah.
well. That's a big journey. It takes, and it could go wrong.
Yeah.
But there's, to me, in the balance, there's greater things to acquire from those exchanges
Right.
than a disaster in the making.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. It just helps you understand people around you a little bit better too. If you,
Mm.
I mean, just even the smallest conversations, that people are having. Um, I have a lot of my conversations. So I work second shift, so I will run errands during the day. Most of the people that are out and about are retired, and it's I always end up helping somebody with something, like
Mm.
their car or whatever it is. And I love that I can do that, but then I I know that they're thankful for that exchange as well, because I think they're so used to people just ignoring them and going on their way. And it just I think it humbles you a little bit too to kind of see these people that are um they're in the public when while you're working usually, you just don't see them out and about and I guess how they live their lives. It's just a little bit different. I've always liked talking to older people, like seniors, because they've lived such a long life and they have so many cool life lessons that
That's true.
it's intriguing. And I love it when they're cranky too. Like it's so I just love cranky old people. They're so funny. So
Oh, I do
yeah.
like that.
Yep.
The um, yeah, the encounter, the encounter with others. I tell so another thing I do is I substitute teach in our local schools. Since COVID, there have been far
Okay.
fewer teachers in our state, and
Okay.
there's a great need for substitute teaching. It does not pay well. Anybody out there
Yeah.
thinking about it? And it's brutal if you remember how you treated your substitute teacher. It's payback time for sure.
Yeah.
Um, but I remind them, when we have a time to talk about travel, depending
Mhm.
on their ages, these could be all the way from third grade to seniors or whatever.
Okay.
Uh, and I remind them that, to when they hear I'm originally from France, so they're like, oh, what's it like in France, Mr.
Yeah.
D, and all this stuff. And I tell them, and they want like, oh, I want to travel to Paris. And I remind them, you don't have to travel far to travel.
Yeah.
You can travel around your block. And they're like, what? It's like, no, there's somebody on your block or down the street or down that farm road that you never met. I'm not saying go knock on their door, but at some time you'll be able
Mhm.
to meet them, and you'll learn something new from them, and they'll be living differently than you. They'll be eating different foods than you. And when you go to France, you'll be talking to different people that think
Yeah.
different things and that are eating different foods. It's happening right around the corner in the communities you live in, especially if you have somebody that's newly arrived from India or something, then there's a
Right.
whole thing to discover that.
Yeah. Yep.
You yeah, and
That's
that's
very
speaking
true.
to the stranger, to them as well, mm,
Yeah.
vice versa.
Yeah. Yep.
Mm.
Um,
It's an endless journey, is what I
right.
say.
Right. Yeah, you don't realize how different people I mean, obviously when you're talking to people and fighting online, you can tell people are different than you, but even just your neighbor that seems to have like the same schedule, same type of job,
Mm.
they could be living a completely different life and you don't realize if you don't talk to them.
Right, and don't
So
think they have the dark. Don't look for the dark secret because that's not what we're always looking for.
Right. Right.
Maybe we all do. I don't know,
Yeah.
but there's usually something rich around there, and that's kind of the basis of this art project, right?
Uh-huh.
It's looking for to build links of a much wider community,
Yeah.
and I think from there, right from the
Yeah.
bottom, this large structure of interconnected people, right,
Mhm.
that make an effort to speak to one another civilly, is disruptive, is an instrument for change in a
Yeah.
country where people do not feel represented anymore by their politicians and by
Mhm.
the political elites, by the super rich or whatever you want to call them,
Yeah.
and we can do a lot because those of us that just want to keep on talking to strangers, no problem, meeting others,
Mhm.
helping people bring their groceries in, cool. And a lot of us are
Yeah.
already doing that because America's full of that altruistic uh, examples.
Uh-huh.
That's it's very different. In the U.S., is fantastic for this. People have it's in there. It's part of our culture to do these
Yeah.
things,
Yeah.
but it can have a huge repercussion all the way up. And some of us are going to get more involved in
Mhm.
our local politics. I meet a lot of people says, I don't vote. I don't want to vote. I
Yeah.
was like, well, okay, that's one thing. But, you've already given up. So it's not just voting. There's all the other stuff you can do. And to be active in your local community is one, and to be involved and to go to the most boring civic reunions and all that.
Yeah.
Maybe that's good for some people. Go
Right.
to those, get involved, and vote specifically in your local elections because what a great return on your vote if you think of it
Yeah.
that way. as an
Yeah.
investment in the sense you know, some things get voted with only 200 people. Enough.
Yeah. Yes. That's and yeah, I think a lot of people, it's almost like they just need somebody to encourage them to go or somebody to go with them. That's what I found with caucus and it, now that I've done it before, I'm going to be much more successful recruiting people because they're like, "Well, what do you do?" And I'm like, "I don't know. All I know is I'm making a speech and telling you who to vote for."
And that's huge right
Um,
there.
right.
Not everybody
But
can do that.
yeah, but they kind of talk about what they want, like the ideas, the policies, the types of things that they want to be um discussed in the conventions, like moving forward. What do you want our platform to look like? What are our main concerns? Well, I didn't know any of that, so now I know, and now I can recruit more people. But I definitely give props to the few that I was able to attend for their first time because we were the youngest ones there. So it's
Oh, right on.
getting the youth engaged. And I'm assuming at the parks you talk to a wide range of ages of people.
So I do since I record voices, it's people over 18 for the most part. Yeah,
Oh,
I avoid
gotcha.
that would be but it's yeah. There's everything from uh, Mennonites, Quakers,
Yeah.
all these religious groups. They got to go see the Grand Canyon. They go see they go to Yellowstone to see Old Faithful. There's
Yeah.
things they got to go see. I'll be there. Then there's just your visitor that comes over, or somebody has a MAGA cap, or the other one
Yeah.
has some T-shirt that you think reveals who they are
Yeah.
politically. And then well, the cap usually does, but when you,
Yeah.
interview, when you speak to them, I have so many surprises, even in the
Mhm.
language that they use. Sometimes I associate as like, oh, that person's a Democrat, right? It's like, oh
Right.
no, they're not.
Right.
They're
Yeah.
not. And the trigger words, which words they use,
Yeah.
and it's interesting how those words change, and what's a trigger word and what's not. Like the word polarization's become a trigger word for a lot of people.
Oh, really?
As a yeah, I found it's like it's but it's interesting if you look at on social media on certain websites and just follow just the words that are being
Uh,
used. New words, you'll find new trends that are happening. And unfortunately, my impression, I don't, an impression is that this is it's not an organic change of vocabulary.
mhm.
It's manufactured in
Yeah.
sense um, by by groups or organizations that
Yeah.
wish to divide the country even more.
Yeah.
Some people say Russia, China, Iran, all this stuff. Okay,
Right.
take it where you want. I don't know who they
Yeah.
are, but it's very similar. Like in meme farms, go explore meme farms where people grab memes to
Uh-huh.
add them to their website. There's a really good, interesting space to go into.
Okay.
There's a lot of Russian meme farms that are making memes for Americans, and they just
Yeah.
but they're not based in Russia. They'll be based in like they'll go in a place like just to have the domain or something. They're in the Ukraine, or
Yeah.
they're another one in Albania is another place. And they'll use that, and boom, you just grab what you want and you plug it in. But they're being made by a group of operatives in
Yeah.
another country. So we're just digesting bad fast food. This is
Mhm.
like junk food we shouldn't be eating.
Yeah. Yeah.
We should be. We have a big buffet of food. I, we eat the sugary stuff, cool, but we got to eat some salad sometimes too.
Yeah. Right. Right. X started showing what country people are posting from,
Oh,
and a lot of these political accounts that um are oftentimes arguing with people, but they're more popular accounts, they're not even from the United States. It's kind of ruining ruining things for them, but I think that's good. I mean,
yeah,
they were
expose it.
obviously there just to cause problems,
Hmm.
and um but with the trigger words, the R word, I get
But what's the R word? Or can we
it's
say it?
oh, you can say it's
I
retard.
might. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So that's used in the scientific community. I used to work with people with mental disabilities, and that's the word that was used in our paperwork and in our documentation. And and it when you make a word that's used in medical documents a trigger word, it's makes life really difficult for people. Because it's like it, like one of my patient or one of the people I took care of, she goes, I'm retarded. Did you know that? And it's like, yes. And that that's not like an insult, right? Like, like you have to explain it to them. But I don't know. It's just strange, the evolution of
Of
trigger
language and
words.
words.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then, that can also be used to describe not to get too far into the weeds, but I was studying paedomorphosis in plants, which is the retardation of growth of certain plant parts. So our faces, as we've evolved over time, um, are more juvenile. Our noses and everything our faces have become flatter or more juvenile, and that would be a growth retardation. But then you have to now suddenly, when you're doing all of these scientific reports, you can't use that word anymore because it's
Hmm.
offensive.
Hmm.
And it's just like, how am I supposed how am I it sounds
What
like,
can you
oh, our
use?
faces are retarded. Like, I sound so offensive if I'm like, yeah, our faces are retarded now compared to other things. It's
And it
kind of
goes
funny.
viral.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it
Yeah.
makes you sound like you're being so mean.
Mm.
But yeah, it's like, well, I guess I'm supposed to say juvenile instead of retarded. I don't
But
know.
if we
Anyways.
present it in a sense that I use this word, I'm
Mhm.
not sure in which way it's going to be perceived, and maybe verbalize that. I
Yeah.
think we go a long way. But when we use a word specifically because we know we're going to trigger someone with it,
Yeah.
it's a whole other. It's the purpose behind our words as well.
Yeah.
And in the sense that a lot of the trigger words are being manufactured abroad,
Mhm.
and our language is being transformed, and therefore our way of thinking is being transformed as well by exterior agents. If we express while we're expressing our political opinions,
Mhm.
maybe also adding in the fact that where our opinion comes from,
Yeah.
what are our sources, where what constructs the ideas that we have today, rather than just say it's like this.
Yeah.
Um, Definitely there'll be an exchange. Maybe the other person will be interested in your sources as well. There'll be an exchange. Those are part of our healthy communication that we need to share with others.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, nothing that in my art project about active listening and all that. This is just all stuff that can be found in academic reports.
Mhm.
The European Union has a center on disinformation. The what is it? There's a U.S. CISA or something like this. There's a U.S. agency as well that works on
Oh.
disinformation. They have
Yeah.
You can go on their website. They explain like how to verify sources and all that stuff. It is so complicated. It's not
Yeah.
complicated. It's just like 4 pages long. Nobody's going to take that and go, you know what? I'm going to apply that. And that's also one of the reasons why I thought, we got to just talk to one another and
Yeah.
work things out, because we're not going to go do a little mini college course for each
Yeah.
one of us in order to
Right.
redefine how we speak to one another. It's
Yeah.
got to be from the heart. And that one we already have, and that one we can use.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
Mm.
Um, I saw that you had a suggestion on how to discuss taboo topics and why we should discuss taboo topics.
That's more on the artistic side. It's
Okay.
more of a personal perception. As I was saying
Yeah.
earlier, I see all art as that we all do art. I also see all art as being political,
Uh-huh.
because every action that we do, we kick a pebble, it has a reaction. All these things
Yeah.
have um, that. To me, a subject that we're not allowed to speak about
Uh-huh.
is just a precursor of no longer being able to be creative
Yeah.
and to be artistic as well. It doesn't mean provocation. It doesn't mean to like, oh, let's go, create some trouble. I mean, that's
Mhm.
one way of doing it,
Right.
but it's bringing things out into the open, so we can look at it from different angles, and use all our senses, look at it from top, bottom, from inside an echo chamber, outside an echo chamber, from somebody else's viewpoint, from my viewpoint. So taboos are not to be avoided in an intellectual aspect. They can be avoided in practice. There might be taboos we shouldn't act upon and do because they're harmful to others, but we should explore them. There shouldn't be words that we no longer talk about, and that's why I chose politics. But I could have changed that word with any other word that was taboo to someone else. I could have also changed in the question, how would you describe the political system of the United States of America? I could change that country to another.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it's a very, but for me, it just all goes back to a reduction of creation in the sense of the creative spirit of humankind. And that's why I believe in confronting all taboos. Yeah, it's more conceptual than, you know, just a landscape painting. I'm more of what's called a conceptual artist. There are art through ideas that can be reproduced any other place. So hence the book with ripping out the pages, putting the sign, that is an art project. It's an idea. I didn't even have to rip out pages. I could have just written down, you do it this way. Somebody else can do it. Hand it to somebody else. They do that. Go to the national park, do that. Anybody can go to the national park and go to a free speech area. They're open to all. That's why, you know, you have Jehovah's Witnesses there and conservationists that use those spaces. They're open to all. It's an endangered species because there's not that many places where you can go out and to speak to anyone you want without getting moved on, without a permit or something like this. And in a sense, that's a taboo too. Right? Where's free speech? It's here right now with you.
Hopefully it stays.
Well, yeah, and it only stays because we continue to exercise that activity, and that your listeners are willing to stand up. And if anything were to happen, or there were attacks upon podcasts for some reason, they would take a stand, make the calls, talk to their neighbors, and make things happen. We all can do things, regardless of how small they are. But we can't do it online because it just kind of, well, we can a little bit, but it kind of just disappears. You know, it's like a drop in the ocean. It's not really visible. The impact of what we do as individuals, face to face, is so much stronger. I mean, studies show that when we have an interaction with another person, it is far greater than any like or heart or whatever we put online.
Right.
You know, it has a much greater impact. The stories that we share with others, personal stories, they go a long way. We remember those. We're story people.
Yeah.
Do you think
that's why podcasts have kind of like become such a big thing, is because you do have all these different people with different ideas talking versus the TV shows where certain things are taboo that you just don't, like, oh, you can't put that on TV, you can't talk about that. Do you think there's people?
I like what you're saying. I mean, just right there, it seems to come together. You, like on a news program, right? It would be like the commercial. It'd be free speech in a mall. So there'd be restrictions on how that can be done, because there's certain things you can't say because lawyers said you can't say this because you're going to get upset and we're going to get sued.
Right.
And in a podcast, what I've noticed, so because this is still new to me, is being a guest on programs is we can be on any program. I mean, with lots of different ideas and exchange things in a civil manner. I haven't been on anywhere people have tried to attack me, or I have been on trying to put me in a corner in order to gain something that fits the narrative of their podcast. It's not the case here for sure.
No, I'm not going to do that to anybody.
right. But some people do. I get it. That's how they roll. But it's because there are stories, like you're saying, and that makes a lot of sense to me. With people coming forth and explaining their own personal stories, and it resonates to others. This is
Yeah.
what we're lacking in our lives.
Right.
Mm,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's strange because we're willing to talk,
Yeah.
but but really what we also want to do is hear other people's stories, but we don't take the
Yeah.
time to talk to strangers and other people. We just talk to them. We don't listen.
Yeah.
So we're not going to
Yes.
hear those little are they micro podcasts?
Yeah.
What are
Ugh.
they?
Yeah. Is micro podcast. Um,
That's a whole other program. Have somebody
right.
come on to a micro podcast. What are they?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my
The
gosh.
conversation face to face.
Yeah. Ugh. So you're something you were talking about with art and touching base on taboo topics with art. Well, first off, yeah, when you were describing, okay, a painting of a landscape can be very beautiful, but the art that touches you is usually something that gives you a emotional connection. Um, but it was also making me think about stand-up comedy. I've
Hmm.
heard a lot of stand-up comedians complain that um people don't understand. I mean, there's truth to jokes. People deal with pain and hard times through comedy oftentimes, and then if they're getting censored or pulled or can't be on shows, you're taking stuff away from the people, because I think that difficult topics, you need an outlet. And if you can't always talk about it or aren't comfortable talking about certain things, if you're able to see that represented through art or through stand-up comedy, which is an art form too, I think, it's an outlet for people who maybe aren't able to talk about it. And I think that's more meaningful when you do artwork that makes people think, and makes people emotionally connect to it. I mean, I fully respect the painters, Thomas Kincaid,
Hmm.
uh,
Sure.
all of those. I love, I recognize their talent, um, but it might not be thought provoking. It might not
Hmm.
give you
There
that
might be a
emotional
connection
attachment.
there, and that's
Yeah,
that's valid. There's just a lot of different ways to look
yeah,
at things. I put the First Amendment. Artists are covered by First Amendment in their expressions. So are the comedians. Any
hmm,
shutdown of any comedian is an attack on the Constitution. Um, it's deplorable if some have to use some trigger words that are hurtful to some, but
hmm,
that's a taboo. So let's go for it, and let's get some things out. I see, of
yeah,
course, comedian stand-up comedy as an art form.
yeah,
Uh, especially if you see everything as art the way I do,
right,
and being
yeah,
political, and on
yeah,
top of it, anything be political, including Thomas Kincaid.
yeah. Now I'm picturing like a beautiful landscape with a "Make America Great Again" flag, like behind this gorgeous little cabin.
Yeah, something like
Obviously,
this.
he
Yeah,
doesn't do that.
yeah. That you put it in context, that in front of the other, it's a whole other thing, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Mm.
yeah. The places
So
my
many things
mind
to
goes.
do. But
Oh,
we gotta be careful, not let these things slip away,
right.
um, and not yeah, the comedians. Which one it was? But there's Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert. That's
Yeah,
been canceled. That's interesting.
yeah,
Certainly, it happens a lot in other countries,
yeah,
but this is America. This is the United States. It's not supposed to happen here, right? And so
right.
that's we yeah, careful. It's
Yeah.
interesting times. Um, yes. Oh, there's another project I'm about to do. So
Okay.
everybody, if they go to my YouTube channel at Triptych Dialogue, uh, um, one that's coming up. They're going to see a lot of weird stuff on there. I'm just going to tell you. I
Okay.
mean, there's me walking around with a trash can on my head, with little eyes going like this. Uh, there's
Yeah.
uh, there's videos from around the world that I've taken, and the words and the voice are people
Yeah.
answering the three non-confrontational political questions, and you're going to wonder why there's a video of like somebody rowing a boat on the Isle of Malta on the other side of the world that has nothing to do with it.
Uh-huh.
It's to create that dissonance so we focus on what the other person's saying, that dream world that we're in. But the next ones I'm taking forth, and if anybody wants to do it too, go for it. I'm going to take two
Uh-huh.
chairs. I'm going to place
Okay.
them one in front of the other. They're going to have little signs on it. One will say conservative, the other one will say liberal, the other one will say MAGA, the other one will say communist, or whatever. And they're going to be empty,
Okay.
just empty chairs. And that gets usually people thinking. I mean, I think the message right there is clear. Nobody's in the chair. Nobody's talking. Those two people with those labels are not talking to one another.
Right.
Also, would those two people like to sit down and have a conversation? And I can be there to mediate it, and we can use conversation techniques to start those conversations.
Yeah.
But as long as those chairs stay empty,
Mm-hmm.
we're in trouble.
Yeah.
We got to
Yeah.
sit down and talk to one another.
my cat just did
Was that the
something.
cat that
Sorry.
did that?
Yeah, he
The cat heard that. Empty chair.
just
I
I
like
thought he
chairs.
fell and yeah. Yeah.
Is it a chair in the sun?
he's uh
uh,
he's a little
anyway.
heavy and has a hard time jumping up onto things, and I got stairs for him today, but didn't set them
Aw,
up yet. So and he's on a diet, so hopefully he
that's
won't
gonna
need
be
them for
fun. Well,
too
the
long.
stairs. This would be stairs masters for cats.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah,
Oh well.
I like that chair idea, because then so the goal is for someone to sit in the chairs and discuss
Well, I never know
topics with
what's
each
going to
other, right?
happen.
Okay.
Somebody wants to sit, they'll take pictures. I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm there. I never know which way it's really going to go. This is more what people would call performance art in that
Yeah.
case.
Yeah.
It's just two foldable chairs with signs on it in a space where they shouldn't be.
Okay.
That's mainly the thing, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
if you put two extra chairs in a
Conference
hall
room.
or
Yeah.
a conference room, it doesn't have the same meaning.
Yeah.
But two chairs where they shouldn't be, just like an artist where they're not used to being.
Right.
And the person talking to a stranger in an unusual place, it's new, it's thought provoking, it brings us somewhere else,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and that creates a story that people can then take with them as a tool to initiate other conversations, as an excuse,
Yeah.
if we ever needed one.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I have one other quick
Oh,
question, and
cool.
it's so it was on your page. Can we change the minds of our political opponents? But I guess my real question is, do we want to be changing their
Nice.
minds,
I like that.
or do we
I
want to
like that.
understand them better? You know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
'Cause-
For me, there's no real answer to that first part.
Mhm.
Can we
Yeah.
change it? Yeah, maybe. I mean, should we
Right.
even be concerned of changing the opinions of others, especially
Right.
on a fact or opinion of something that we've solidified so strongly in our mind that if they brought up new points of view on it, would we be able to listen and accept those things if it contradicted what we had to say? Right? If we didn't present it right, we're so attached to the idea
Yeah.
that we would say it correctly, uh, that I don't think we'll be flexible enough to be contradicted, if the
Yeah.
case would be, if they had a better point. However, if we just listen,
Mhm.
we're going to hear something. If they listen to you, they're going to hear something more. There's more of a chance of change there, but it's certainly not my goal to change political opinion
Yeah.
as much as just to reignite what's already there within us, to speak to the other, because even if we don't use speech, we still
Mhm.
have all nonverbal and all the other senses to do these things if we want to or not. In the
Yeah.
supermarket, all those other people, they're not
Yeah.
they're part of us too. There's
Yeah.
no escaping it. We're
Yeah.
all in this together.
Yes. Yes. It's it, if you're trying to get somebody to vote a certain way, you might want to change their mind. But I guess for me personally, just to be comfortable with people around me, I'd rather just talk to them and make them hate me a little bit less if
Yes.
they hate
Yeah.
me for who I voted for,
That's
So,
an instrument for change.
yeah.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
That I think that the honesty from the heart will win other people over.
Yeah.
Of course, if you have facts and figures and other things to share and
Right.
that you believe in, yeah, if the other person wants to hear them, if they want to know
Yeah.
about it, that's the time to give it to them. Of course,
Right.
it's fertile ground for change, and they want to learn, and you're there as the educator. Go for it,
Yeah. Yeah.
but not out of the blue.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
Makes
except when
sense.
you're knocking indoors and it's election time and all this
Right.
stuff.
Yeah. Yep.
Mm.
So,
Oh, this
all
has been
right.
really good. Thanks for bringing up
Yes.
some things that I'm going to integrate in my art
Oh,
project right there. I like
awesome.
that.
Good.
Yeah, this is good. These conversations are very good for me too.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
synthesize some things.
Yeah, I'd like to follow and see everything that you're up to. So
Uh,
it's Triptych Dialogue on YouTube, correct?
yeah, so yeah, it's written strange again. It's that T. It's like a trip, TRIP, and then it's a TYCH,
Okay.
and then second word dialogue, DIALOGUE, and that's where it's at. There's lots of different videos on there, and it's quite confusing,
Hmm.
but it's entertaining in a different type of way.
Yeah.
There's a lot
Yeah.
of slow videos in there.
Okay.
Okay? I don't mind videoing a plastic bag just
Yeah.
floating in the air. That's cool with
Yeah.
me.
And you mentioned Instagram. Are you on Instagram too? Or no?
So by
Not
going to
anymore.
YouTube, I did put a link to this finished project on Instagram on polarization and disinformation where I got banned. It's still
Okay.
up
Yeah.
because I'm not putting anything on there. It's
Yeah.
the last post is the end, and you can
Okay.
go back, and it will take you also through the philosophy of Plato's allegory of the cave from 2,400 years ago, which is all about
Oh,
echo chambers and exiting the
yeah.
echo chamber and all that stuff. So
Interesting.
that's pretty interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And
Perfect.
everything's disconnected,
Yeah.
kind of like my mind. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
yeah,
So
yeah. Please,
awesome.
everybody, check it out.
Yeah.
That's actually the only recompense that I get
Okay.
for any of this is the like, the comment, or the
Yeah.
or the subscribe or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah. Sounds good.
those are my little crumbs.
Yeah. Yep. I know
Of
how
course,
that
I prefer
goes.
when I meet somebody in the street that's actually, read a book or something, had one of those books or something. And
Right.
anybody can
Yeah.
contact me through the comments. I will send them the book for free. Yeah, some of the
Awesome.
books I made, if they're interested in it, and show
Yeah.
me some interest for a triptych dialogue book. There's a lot of videos that show what the book looks like when I'm ripping up the pages, what's inside of them,
Okay.
and they can contact me, and I will. It won't cost them a cent. Just please use the books
Hmm.
for what their intention is. It costs
Right.
me, so do something with
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, this has been a really interesting
Oh,
conversation. So
cool. Yeah, same here.
I think it's gonna do some good. So
Right on.
yeah.
I really
Yeah.
appreciate this. I really
Yeah.
love what you're doing.
Thank you.
It's given me a lot of new ideas. I'm gonna go
Good.
write these down right now.
Awesome. Perfect. All
Uh,
right. Well, yeah, thanks again for being here. And I will keep in touch, let you know when the episode's out and give you all the links to it. And you can do what you want with those as well. So yeah. But
very cool.
all right.
Sam,
So
thanks a lot.